Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this top. So guys, basically it's a straight leg pant with this top, but I'm going to focus more on the top part. So guys, it's very easy to make. So you're going to go ahead, fold your fabric into two. So I'm going to make it in this miniature version because I don't have more fabric to do that. So but the method is still the same. So first thing is that you're going to get one fabric, fold it into two, get the second one, fold it into two. You see, both of them are folded into two. You see the side here. The smaller one is my back panel, the bigger one is the front panel. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the width of the fabric, so you're going to be doing this based on your own size, right? So you're going to make sure that the width of this fabric is your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 3, 2 inches of ease, and then 1 inch of seam allowance. It depends on you how much ease you want. You can do 2 inches, you can do 1.5 of ease, but if you look at her, oh, you see that the top is quite free. So I would do 2 inches or 1.5, and then you add 1 inch of seam allowance. So once that is done, go up to your shoulder, measurement divided by 2, whatever that is, insert it, and then come in here come down 1 inch, insert your armhole divided by 2. Then you're going to go ahead, connect it. So like I said, your bust measurement divided by 4, whatever it is, go ahead and mark it. Add, like, let's say 2 inches of ease, and then 1 inch of seam allowance. You understand? So once you do that, you're going to mark it straight down. So let's say that my own, everything that I marked here is going to just be like, let's say my bust measurement divided by 4, let's say that is 8, right? So let's say my bust is 32, divided by 4 is 8, and added 2 inches of ease, inch of seam allowance. So once that is done, I'm going to just connect it here, just like that. Give it a curve like this, and then come to the neckline here. I'm going to just mark 3 inches, your basic neckline. So you're going to do 3 inches of neck width, just like that. Mark it, and then you're going to connect the shoulder slope all the way to this point. And then come down 1 inch of neckline here, just like that. Connect it this way all the way out. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut from this point now out, shoulder slope, and then all the way. So guys, you see I've removed this piece here, remove this piece here. This is what I'm working with here. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is, so I just remembered that I didn't tell you what the length would be. So guys, you can do from your shoulder to just above your hip, maybe 2 inches above your hip. It depends on you, the length you want yours to be. So to that length, you're going to add extra 2 inches, 1.5 for folding the end, because if you look at the bottom part of our clothes, the thickness of the fold is a lot, like it's like almost 2 inches of fold here, and then half an inch of joining the shoulder. So that's why I said whatever length you decided to work with. So let's say you decided to work with 23, that means you're going to cut the whole top to be 25 inches. I'm just giving you an example of, you're going to measure on yourself what length you want. Just add 2 inches to the extra, like so that you can use it to fold the end here, and half an inch to join the shoulder. So once that is done, I've cut everything my back panel needs. And if you feel like the hip measurement, if you add this to the bust, it will still not fit. Another thing you can do is come down to the hip also. If your own goes down a lot, like to the hip, what you can do is just do the same thing, your hip measurement divided by 4, and then you can go ahead and add the same hip divided by 4, but down at the hip you can just do less than what you did for ease here. You can do, maybe if you did 2.2 inches here as ease, you can do 1.5 here, and then add 1 inch of seam allowance, connect it to that point here. Just know that the back panel is done. Most of our focus now is just going to be on the front. You don't need anything more on this back panel, so you're just going to focus mostly on the front now. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and split open this center part here, the back panel. You see I ruled this straight line here to help me know where the exact pattern of this back panel is, right? So that is this straight line that you're seeing here. And then to this, I'm going to mark extra 1.5. Don't mind this extra fabric I have here, I don't need it. All I need here is just extra 1.5, 1 inch for my button overlapping, half an inch to help me join a different color of fabric inside, you understand, which is what will now form my overlapping here. So before that, you see I wanted to go ahead and cut this neck, but there's no need to cut it yet until I've marked 1.5 distance from this point here. 1 inch of my button overlapping, half an inch to join a different color. You see what I mean by joining a different color to it. So in the meantime, let me mark that 1.5. So you see I've added a distance of 1.5 here. So now let me go ahead and cut off every other thing. Excess here is to go ahead and take a different color of fabric that I want to work with. So it depends on you what color of fabric that you're trying to add to this here, guys. Ignore the fact that I cut this out. Just yours is still supposed to remain the same after you've removed that 1 inch of back neckline. Just still leave it the way it is, right? The way it is now is how it's still supposed to be. You understand? Just ignore the fact that I already cut this piece out. Just try not to make the same mistake as me. All you have to do is, once you cut out this 1 inch of neckline, remove this back panel, extend the center part with 1.5 inch here, and then go ahead, get a color of fabric that you think would match whatever you have here. We're going to take it, start from the beginning here and join it to the end. You're going to make sure that the fabric you're joining is about 3.5 inches of width. You understand? Whatever fabric. So guys, this is what I was saying. So you see the 1 inch is just left, the half an inch was used to join this. This is what I mean to join it. This half an inch was to join this. So basically after cutting it, you have 1.5 added to the front panel. The back panel, this extra piece here is like 3.5 added to it. So the 0.5 is this seam here. The 0.5 from both of them is this seam here. 1.5 from this side, 3.5 from this side. The 0.5 is this seam made here, and then when it turn over is here. So now it's also the same on this other side. So now I'm going to put the two of them together. So now I can go ahead and cut off the neckline. So to cut this off, so guys, it depends on you. If you want to make yours one color, then that means when you're folding the fabric, this will just be one fabric, right? This my fabric will just be extension of this 1 inch plus 3 inches. That's extension of 4 inches total. You understand? But because it's a different fabric, that's why I had to do it this way. So if you wanted it to just be one fabric all over, then just when you're cutting this front panel, just extend it with extra 4 inches. So now I'm going to tuck this back in here, go back up to the shoulder, and then I'm going to measure from the shoulder to 3 inches. You see that 3 inches I wanted to cut before. So now I can go ahead and cut it. So mark it here and then give it a basic neck curve. You see, now I can go ahead and cut this thing that I was cutting before. So now just put your scissors and cut this out. You have here the neckline is like this. So you see this part is going to look something like this. This is also going to look something like this. This is the extension. So now this is going to look like this here. So once you place it over each other, you're going to have 1 inch on this side overlapping the 1 inch from this side, but then it's going to end like this. You see why this is important? Like this here, this other side will open up. That's why you have to make this go in more, in case if you want your flap to go to be wide, right? So once this 1 inch overlaps each other, you might stop it where your underbust is, because you see her own is showing cleavage. So you can put a button here, or just one button to hold everything together. Once you do that, you can have more. So guys, it depends on you how wide you want yours to be. That's why I said go even more. Like if you have more fabric, you can do, instead of 3 inches for this, guys, just cut extra like 5 inches or 4 inches. It doesn't matter, just so that, because the more you're widening this collar to bring it down to your cleavage, the more this upper part is going to open up. And imagine if I use like 3 inches of fabric inside here. Once I start to open it, it will no longer be this fabric. It ended somewhere here now, and I'm trying to open it up. You see, now I'm starting to show the inner fabric. So that's why I said it's better to cut excess of this fabric. This one, I was saying 3 inches, but right now this is even, you see, this one I have here is 4.5, and this is a miniature version. So I would advise to go with 5 inches, just to be safe. 5 inches plus the half an inch you used to join the body of this to it, right? Just so that when you open this, if it's too much, just cut it. It doesn't matter. Just so 5.5 is what we are sticking with, right? To cut, to join to the, that's the width of this is going to be 5.5. The 0.5 is for this seam, and then that is it. So now what I'm going to do next is just to take my back panel. So guys, now I'm going to go ahead and use, you see what I was saying? So it's supposed to look something like this. Once you use half an inch, so the next thing now is to use half an inch, join the shoulder here like this, also join this other one like this. You see it's coming together now. So just one button is what is going to hold this together. You see, one button under your bust or your bust line, just depending on the amount of cleavage you want to show. So once you join these two shoulders together, we are going to come back now and we are going to measure around your neck. So from the front of this part here all the way to the back, come back up again this way, just to this other side of the neckline, because by then you've already joined the shoulder. So whatever you get is what we're going to use to cut our collar. Whatever you get, let's say you got 17, 18, whatever it is, you're going to get, if your fabric folded into two like the way mine is now. You see how my own is folded, guys. The other ways people make this collar, but this is the way that works for me. That way I don't have to draft it on a pattern paper, because another way would be to draft it on a pattern paper, but this way it works for me and it comes out neat. So the next thing after that is to measure the length you want, whatever you got. So like I said, 17, 18, whatever. So for me, I know what I got. So like I said, I'm making it on a miniature version, and right now I got about, I think, 15.5 or so. So I've already closed up this edge using half an inch, right, this part here. So all I have to do is just to insert that measurement, whatever you got. If it's 17, if you've not closed yours and it's just still open like how this one is, all you have to do is whatever measurement you got, add 1 inch to it, half an inch to close this side, half an inch to close the other end. But like I've closed this end already, so all I have to do is just whatever measurement I got, 15.5, I'm going to mark it and then add half an inch to it. So that's going to be 16 in total. That's half an inch to close this end, just so it will look like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out now. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead, turn this over this way, close it up like this, sew it close. So guys, remember, everything about this jacket is quite big, right? So normally I would have done maybe, let's say 3.5 for the width of my collar, but we're trying to make it bigger, right? So guys, this is what we have now. So the next thing you're going to do is to fold it into two, and then you're going to find halfway through that, right? And then once you find it, the next thing you're going to do is to go ahead and mark the 3 inches of back neckline that we used, the neck width that you used for the back neckline. So for me, that is 3 inches. I'm going to go ahead and mark that neck width, right? So mark it, and then down at the end of this part here, I'm just going to remove at least 1.5 from it, and then I'm going to blend it into this corner like this, just like that. So you're going to insert your back neckline for 3 inches, right? From the tip, after you folded it into two, mark your normal back neckline width, 3 inches, and then you're going to come up here by 1.5, reduce it, because you don't want this part here to be this wide. So you go up here 1.5, connect it to the angle of the back, and now you're going to go ahead and cut this part off. So you see, by the time we are done now, if I remove this 1.5 now from this here, remember we said 4.5 is the whole length of this collar, but towards the end here is not going to be the same length, because this 4.5, I'm going to remove 1.5 from this end, so I'm left with 3 inches, and this 3 inches now, half an inch of seam allowance is still going to come out from this end here. So by the time I'm done, the tip of this collar is going to be left with 2.5, but this back, center back here, is still going to be left with the 4 inches, because half an inch of it is going into the collar. So let me go ahead and cut this from here to that point. So guys, now all I have to do is just to join this here. So you see, like I said, I notched it here so that I'll know. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just to take it from this side here, and then I'm going to open this up from this corner here. I'm going to insert this inside of this part here. So you see what I have here, it was like this before, right? This way. I'm going to open it up now. From this corner, I'm going to insert this my collar inside of it here, the end of this my collar. That's why you have to make sure that you've already sewn this part here. I'm going to insert the end of my collar inside here, and then sandwich it in between this flap here and then this back, this cloth here, and then I'm going to keep sewing it all the way. I'm going to try not to I'm going to reduce this by half an inch, because remember, this part here, once you get to this point here, this would have normally been the shoulder seam. So that's why I reduced it. I don't want it to get all the way to the shoulder seam. That's this inner one, because it depends on the width of your cloth. I don't want it to go all the way to this shoulder part. So that's why I cut it off at that point where it's supposed to meet this shoulder seam. Like when I say shoulder seam, I mean here. So this my inner cloth here, that part where it's supposed to get to this point, I cut it off. I reduced it. That's what I just cut out now. So you see, I'm going to take it now, sew it all the way to this point. As I'm sewing, wherever this part stops, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to continue sewing just like that. Until, that's why you have to make sure that you measured everything correctly. And then I'm going to sew until I get to the other end here, just like that. I'm also going to turn it around this way, covered like this. and continue the same way inside of it. So I'm going to do mine now. I'll bring it back so you guys can see. So guys, this is what we are working with. Like I said, you have to, you see what I did here? Let me open it so you guys can see. You see, I started from this end here. That's, guys, one thing is that you have to be sure of the measurement. So if you want, you can open up the neckline so that you can be able to tell the exact length you need. Because one thing you don't want is, as you're getting to the end, after you've cut everything, getting to the end, the fabric is not enough, or the collar doesn't reach to the end. So you see, mine is inside like this. You see the seam, I just sewed it down here, and once I flip it open now and then pull it out, my collar will come out. You see how this part looks? Once I pull it now, my collar is out, just like that on this side, and then on this other side. So the next thing is that you're going to cut your sleeve. The sleeve can be elbow length, wherever you want it to be. It's just our basic sleeve pattern. So you're going to come down. So let's say this is it here. Your sleeve width divided, your arm, the width here is your armhole divided by 2 plus like extra 2 inches, just because you added some more room here. You know, this is not your exact size. You added more here for your ease and seam allowance and all that. So maybe your armhole divided by 2 plus like extra 2 inches will be the width here. Come down from here, the shoulder, add mark your 4 inches of cap height, and then you connect it from this point, just how we draw our normal sleeve. Connect it from this point to the end here. Halfway through, give it a curve below and then a curve above, just like that. You have your sleeve. And then so come down to this end here. So you're going to measure from your shoulder to, it's supposed to be somewhere here for the length, but guys, it depends on you where you want your length to be. But it's like almost 3/4, but not really, just below your elbow. You're going to measure what you have, round your elbow divided by 2, add maybe 1.5 of ease to it, and then add 1 inch of seam allowance. After that, connect it just like that. And then the length here, you're going to make sure that the length is your shoulder to your just below your elbow plus like extra 2 inches or so that you can also give it a thick band of folding when you're done. So I'm going to cut from here now. I'm going to cut this out and then cut from this point all the way above like this, and I have my sleeve. So guys, this is it here. You see, I've cut it out. This is going to be my sleeve. All I have to do is fold the end this way, like with a thick band, and then insert my sleeve, one on each side, one here and then one on the other end, right? That's what we are working with. So guys, I know you might be wondering, what of this inner part here, what is going to happen to it? So just, let's say this is my bias. All I have to do is just to take bias tape from one side of this here to the other end here. I'm going to just use bias to turn it over, sew it down, and then like sew it, make the stitch on top of it behind it, just like that. That's how you're going to finish up this extra. Chip it off, guys. You're going to cut off the excess so that the fabric is not bulky, and then you're going to use bias to turn it over, like sew it down, fold it. And then, you know, there's this other thing here on it. So from your shoulder to your waist, but you're going to do, instead of your waist, you're going to do at least 1 or 2 inches below your waist, depending on your height, right? 1 to 2 inches below your waist to be perfect, or you can measure yourself where you want it to be. So you're going to put it, your tape, and then you're going to measure it and place it here. So you can, guys, this is not really a pocket, it's just for design, because I've watched several videos on the dress on this. It's not like a wallet pocket, it's just a design of this flap on it. They didn't really add any pocket there. So it depends on you. Some of the ones I saw, they added it at something like in form of an angle. So some of them, they added it in form of an angle facing this way, and then the other one is also facing like the same direction, right? But if you want, you can just keep yours straight, like how the white one is, right? So just like this here is just like a pocket that I cut out, but it's like a fabric. So this looks something like this, open wide, and then the length of it is about, the length from here is like 10 inches of length, and then the width is 7 inches of width. And then all I did was just to fold it into two, so close this side, so close this side, and that was how I was able to get something that looks like this pocket, like this here. But what I'll do with this is just mark where my waist is. So let's say this is my waistline here. All I have to do is take it here on this particular line. I'm going to stitch it down like this. It's going to fall over, and then I'm going to top stitch it. You understand? So first, I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, sew it once with this end here, 1/2 inch, and then tilt it over and then top stitch it. Then I've added this design here. It doesn't really have a pocket there. the pocket came with the pants. If you look at her, you see that all the time she's putting her hand in the pocket is just to the pants. But if you want how to make this wallet pocket that comes like this, I can also make a video on that. But just to keep it short, the pocket comes with the pant. That's why she keeps putting her hand through the side of the clothes. So I'm going to just do the same thing on this other side now. Go ahead, insert this sleeve here, insert this other sleeve here. And another thing that you're going to do is that you see me taking this here, this is what I'm going to use to iron this thing to lay flat. So as I'm going to iron, I'm going to insert it in between this glue thing. I'm going to iron it down to make sure that this is smooth, so that when this collar falls over, it's not going to be wrinkly, right? So that this will help hold it together and give it some firmness to it. So I'm going to go ahead, insert this in between, iron it, insert my sleeve, put in the pocket, and then I'll bring it back so you guys will see how we're going to fold and finish up the end. So guys, this is what mine looks like. Like I said, this is a miniature version, right? So now all I have to do is to go ahead and fold this end. So you see, getting to the end, you're going to stop at least 4 inches before the end of your clothes after you folded everything. And then this remaining piece here, at least 3 inches to 4 inches, you have to stop. And then this remaining here, that 1 inch of seam allowance that you used, you're going to fold it away on this side, sew it, and then cross over to the other side like this, and then also fold this one away. You see, that way you will have a small slit here. So basically you will have 1 inch of seam allowance from the side after sewing it as you're coming down. You see, that 1 inch here, you're going to stop 3 inches before you get to the end, and then you're going to face each of them towards one direction, this direction, the other one towards this direction, and then this one on this side, you're going to fold it like this. Start from this point, sew it down, cross over here, go up again. This other one, the same thing, fold it like that. You see, so I'm going to do it on the 2 sides, and that will be it. So that's basically how you sew this here, guys. I already have several videos on pants, and this style also came with a short, so it depends on you how you want to make yours. So that's basically, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Please guys, like, share and subscribe, and bye.